Hi everyone! A couple days ago, I made a video on how to make these masks. And before making it and after making it, I had a couple of suggestions from people. One of those people is my daughter, who is in the science end of the medical field. Another one is my niece, who's in the dental field. And they suggested ways of doing this without it going over your ears. Because, after a while, it might hurt behind your ears. If you're my husband, he wears hearing aids and he can't wear things over his ears. So today I am going to show you a few different ways to make these without it going over the ears. And I'm also going to show you a way to have an opening in case somebody wants to stick some extra protection inside. But before I do that, I need to share something with you. So there have been a few people on Facebook that wanted to make sure I understood that these face masks are a waste of time, that they do not do any good whatsoever. And I was really confused because there is a lot of hospitals out there requesting them. So I did call a hospital. Found out this hospital actually has a department that handles the receiving of these masks and the fabrics and handing out the fabrics to have them made. And I thought that was really awesome. And I did ask, I said, then why are these people telling me that these are useless? And she said, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So with that said, I'm going to read something to you, and yes, that's why I'm wearing my glasses, so that I could actually read this to you. And I just thought it was information you might want to know before we get on to making the variations of the masks. So, basically, the masks are worn on your face to cover your nose and your mouth. And that is to help reduce the wearer's risk of inhaling hazardous airborne particles, including infectious agents. Now, that is to help reduce. That is not getting rid of it completely. So don't think if you're wearing a mask, you are immune to getting the virus. That's not true. But this will help reduce that risk. Okay? But your eyes are still not covered. So keep that in mind. And another great thing about these masks is it prevents us from touching things with our hands and then touching our nose and our mouth. Seriously, you may not realize it, but you'll touch something and then stick your finger up your nose or in your mouth to pick a tooth. I mean, you just don't want to do that. But your eyes are not protected, so you don't want to rub your eyes, unless you want to wear goggles to protect your eyes. But another good thing about face masks is that if someone is sick, then it will help prevent the spreading of the sickness. But again, the key words are help and reduce. This is not a cure-all or 100% prevention from getting the virus. Okay, now let's head on over and let me show you a few variations on making these masks. And by the way, if you want to see the tutorial that I did, I'm going to have a link below in the description box right at the top where you can find it. And also at the end of this video, there'll be an end screen. You can just click on that and get to that video as well. Okay, let's head on over and get started. Okay, so here I have your basic face mask along with 3 different variations for it. And actually there is a 4th variation which includes putting a little pocket in it. So first of all, I'm going to start off with what I consider the easiest one, which is this one right here. So let me move all of this out of the way. And what I've done is instead of using elastic through here to go over the ears, I've used shoelaces and just bring them around to tie in the back. So this can actually go over your ear, but not around your ear, or you can skip your ear altogether and just kind of put it above your ear. But that way it's also comfortably adjustable because you just tie it to fit. And it's just like the exact same face mask, just instead of the elastic, you use the shoelaces. And the shoelaces that I've used, I believe, are about 42 inches. So I think anywhere between 40 to 44 inch shoelaces would be absolutely perfect for this. And let me show you what it looks like on. Now this next suggestion was given to me by my niece. And that first one was given to me by myself, but this one was given to me by my niece. And so what you do is you take a headband, the nice stretchy ones that are wide, like 1.5 to 1 3/4 inches wide, and you find the center. So the first center is obviously, this is going to go in the very back where the seam is. So put that at one end, and then to find the center, just fold it in half, and you will get an idea of right where the center is. And then you are just going to sew a button on each side, and make sure that it has enough space around it to hold the elastic. So you don't want a little tiny button that doesn't have a lot of space, but you don't want a gigantic button either. So just one that works just right. And when I sewed these on, I'm not a seamstress in any way, but I actually put the thread with the knot end through the fabric on this side, so it didn't start on the back. I didn't want a little knot back there from the thread to poke somebody in the head and make them uncomfortable. So I just kind of went back here and caught the material there. But this is actually really comfortable. I've tried it, and let me show you how that works. Now this one is a little interesting, and this idea came about while I was talking to my daughter, who again is in the medical field, and I was telling her, this is before I made these, I told her I'm really nervous about it because I don't have the same elastic that everyone else has that they're kind of sewing into this. And so I was going to have to create, you know, this little spot for the elastic to slide through. And I told her because the only elastic I had is the ones for making scrunchies. And she said, why can't you attach the scrunchie to the face mask? And I said, I don't know. And I started to do that for my first video, and then I didn't. But I did now. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So first of all, you can watch my scrunchie making video if you'd like. But you take a piece of fabric that is 4 inches by 24 inches. Now this one is only by 20 inches because I didn't know how long I was going to need. But I do suggest doing 24 inches. You could even do it a little bit longer if you would like, if you want more of a scrunchy effect to it. But you take that and you just sew it up. There's my seam. You just sew it and then you turn it right side out. Okay, so then you have your little scrunchie here that we're going to call it. All right, the next thing you do is you take your elastic and you're going to want, what did I use? I think I used 3 feet of elastic. Okay, so 3 feet of this, get it up closer there, it's this round elastic. Okay, I believe it's 2 millimeters. And what you do is you start off by sliding one end of it through here, okay? And then you run that end all the way through this scrunchie to the other end. You round it up through the other end, so it comes out this end, and boom, right back through that. So both pieces of elastic are going through this. It's going to come all the way back to the other side. And you are going to tie it. And the tie is in here somewhere. I've got it right about in the middle, okay? But you're going to tie it really strong. And you know what? Just for you, I'm going to see if I can pull it out here. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. And you tie it and it stays, okay? You just tie them together and you pull it until it stays really strong. I show this actually in the video on how to do this. So I show you how to tie it. And that way you have them both going through, and then that gets hidden in there. And if you make the scrunchie longer, so if you use like at least, 24 inches of fabric, if you wanted to, you could actually attach it to the face mask. I don't think you would attach it all the way like that, but you could attach each end here just by sewing it carefully if you wanted to hide the elastic. So this is a little bit more complicated. I probably should do a full tutorial on it, but I'm not. So like I said, just keep in mind 4 inches by at least 24 inches long, have it folded inside out, sew it, turn it right side out, and you are just going to thread the elastic through the ends of the mask and through here and tie it. And let me show you how this one works. Okay, I'm back with this one because I'm going to show you the little pouch, and it's right on top. So this is perfect if somebody wants to stick another piece of fabric in there that they could pull out, or a piece of Kleenex or something that they feel maybe gives them an extra layer of protection. And of course you would keep this at the top, or I would keep it at the top. I guess nothing's going to fall out if you wanted it at the bottom. And I am not a seamstress, as you know. These are the third things I've ever learned how to make. And so I'm going to show you, though, how easy this was to do. So let me grab it. If you watch my tutorial, this is the piece of fabric you start with. They are sewn together. Let me see if I could find the other end. They are sewn together, you know, with the right sides facing together. And you have to leave this opening right here in order to turn it right side out. Well, I thought instead of sewing that, iron this down on both sides. So take your seam and fold it down and iron it. Do the same thing on the other side so that they're both folded down. And then let me show you what I did from there. I use Headband, which is a ThermoWeb product, and I love ThermoWeb. And this is an iron-on adhesive, and it is permanent. It's awesome. And what I do is I cut off a piece at least the length of the wrong end. At least the length of the opening, if not longer. You could actually make it go the full length. And I cut off a piece, and then I cut it in half this direction, making it skinnier because you don't want it, you know, sticking out there. And follow the directions and iron it down. You stick it right here, right in here. I'll do it with a full piece so you can see it here. But you stick it right up against the seam, and you are going to iron it down, and it's going to hold that so you don't have to sew it. And there's a little opening that turns out to look just like, wrong side, just like this. Okay, and let me get up there close. So that's all held down by the Headband, and there's your opening. So a great way for a little added protection. I forgot to tell you, but I got these headbands at the Dollar Tree, a 3-pack for $1. And this was part of it. Of course, this one's been used, so it's stretched out a little bit longer, as these will get stretched out as well. But I just wanted you to know that Dollar Tree is a great place to pick up the headbands and some buttons. Thank you all for watching, and I hope this gave you a better understanding of face masks, as well as some great ideas for variations. And don't forget, there's a link below in the description box to my original video from a few days ago on how to make these face masks. And also, if you just wait a second, there'll be an end screen here for you to click on as well. Okay, everyone, be safe, be healthy, be smart, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.